Welcome back to Chapter 1, the Backstage or File View. In the last part 1, we covered new and open and how to make sure you stay organized and save your folders. In this one, we're going to talk about the info and our Save As feature. If I click on my info, I have two sections. I have a middle section and I have a section on the right called Properties. If I look at my Properties section, I can click on this drop down, go to Advanced Properties, and I can add data such as a subject. I can also go down, I'm going to move this out of the way. I can also go down to here at the bottom where it says Show All Properties, click on it, and I can find my subject that I just typed in, Chapter 1 Backstage View. I can also add a comment by just clicking in. And here's the most important thing is that always type in your name so that you are the owner of the document. This is one way, check as author, one way that you can prove that this is actually your document. A lot of people don't know about personalizing your work, and this would be a good way to make sure that if anybody stole your work, you can prove that it is your work originally because it has your original name. So this will give you your properties. So you have your advanced. You can click right inside your properties, or you can go down and click on Show All Properties. The next section we're going to look at is our protection. We can actually protect our work. So if you lose your flash drive, someone can't steal your work if you protect it. So I'm going to click on my drop down. Oops, my document's a little freezing here. All right, I'm going to click on my drop down. I can encrypt with a password. I can restrict editing. I can add a digital signature, which is what I don't want to do. And I can mark as final. I'm going to click on mark as final. The document will be marked as final and then saved. Okay. Then I'm going to say okay. And if you notice now, I have a yellow shading around my protect document. So if I hit my back button, you're going to see mark as final, and authors mark the document as final and discourage editing. I can go in and edit it anyways. So if I click on editing, it disappears. But it's one way to protect your document. Another more secure way is I can encrypt it with a password. So I can click encrypt password, and then I can type in a password. If you do this, please make sure you write down your passwords, because if you forget your password, you cannot access it. I normally use Meridian in this class, so often you'll be asked to put a password called Meridian. I'm going to cancel out. I can also restrict my editing. If I click restrict editing on my restrict editing task pane here, right, open that, make it a little bit bigger. Underneath 2, I can say, okay, right now, no change, read only. Or I can say, no, they can track changes. No, they can make comments, or I can actually deny them. Then once I say, let's say I click on just comments, I need to come down here where it says yes, start in reinforce protection. I'll click on that. I'll add in my passwords and then say okay. By doing this, people who open up this doc can only add comments. They cannot change anything, which is nice. So that's another way to restrict your editing. So we have covered encrypting, restricting, and marking as final. Now let's look at save as. I never use the save key. I highly recommend staying away from that, largely because sometimes you don't know where you saved your document if you use that. The save as will help you go up and check your path to find out where your document actually is being saved. It's on my flash drive. It's underneath my documents Word folder, chapter 1. So I know right where it's at, and I can use the save icon here to save it. So that's a nice feature. On our computers, if you click on save, you don't know where it's really going to save, and you're not sure if it's in a secure place, because we have protections on our computers that will not allow you to save in certain places. And then when you open up you turn on your computer next time, it might not be there, it might be gone. So make sure you're always aware of where you save. I can, under my save feature, I can also browse, and I want to make sure that I'm checking where I'm saving at by looking up at my paths. Right, that's pretty much it for this chapter. We have covered your information or your protection. There's one other thing I forgot. We need to check for issues. If I click on my drop down, I can inspect my document. I'm going to say yes. And then what it's going to do, it's going to go through, and I'm going to say inspect. It's going through and checking my document for all added information. I notice that it has document properties and personal information. If I don't want that in there, I can remove it. If I scroll down, notice that I have headers and footers. If I want to remove that, I can. However, here's the caution. When you inspect your document, if you were told to add headers and footers, then make sure when you're asked to inspect your document that you don't remove these. Otherwise, you won't have your headers and footers in, and you'll have to add them in again when I ask you questions about your work. So be careful about removing headers and footers and watermarks, especially if you've added them into the document. I'm going to close out of that. All right, that's pretty much our info and our Save As feature. This is part 2, and good luck with your exercises.